Hello there, everyone. Dusty Sage from MiceChat.com here at Disneyland. And tomorrow is the 4th of July, so you might expect that it is packed here today at Disneyland. But you would suspect wrong. We're going to take you through and show you what's going on at Disney, and we have all sorts of people with us today. Of course, we have Mike with us on the mic, Mike on the mic. We have Jeffrey and Ando and Natalie and Eric. There he is. He's hop up and down, Eric. We're going to show you what wait times look like, some surprise things in the shops for Halloween already. Natalie will tell us all about that. A flip-flop on a shop that became a seating area and is now a shop again. We'll show you the complete and total lack of patriotism in the park for 4th of July tomorrow. A lot for us to see, but it is a gorgeous day here at Disneyland. Let's turn this around. We're here in the marketplace area of Star Wars Land, or Galaxy's Edge, as they call it. You know, all the other lands have names like Tomorrowland, Adventureland, Frontierland. I would have loved it if this was Star Wars Land.
People almost get offended if you call it Star Wars Land.
Well, they get mad at you. Disney definitely wants me to call this Galaxy's Edge. We're not going to go all the way down there, but you'll see the Millennium Falcon, which has a whopping 20-minute wait. Is it still at 20 minutes right now, Mike? Can you tell?
Actually, it just went up to 25 minutes.
25
but
minutes.
I mean, still, it's short.
Well, when we checked the wait times just before we went live, the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, which will next summer be switched over to a new storyline that features the Mandalorian and Grogu, which I'm looking forward to.
That's gonna be fun.
And it has destinations inspired by the original Star Wars films you love, like the Cloud City and the Death Star and Tatooine. So it's definitely going to be a huge improvement, not just for that attraction, but also the land, I believe, tying it more into the places and stories that we know. We noticed that the Rontos are not churning here, but we did have, Shane did, he's saying churn, 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 but nothing is churning. You tried that new cheese stick.
Yeah.
What did you think?
It was all right. It was kind of sweet. The cheese sauce was good, but would I buy it every time I come?
No.
Not so sure.
I had the Rontoless wrap. Eric, you had your first Ronto wrap.
It was delicious, actually.
You loved it?
Better than the Ronto wrap.
Better than the Ronto wrap. We're headed towards, Luke is here, everybody. Woo. He's quite powerful with the Force. I don't know, why does he seem so evil? Luke's not the one that became Darth Vader.
He did kind of look.
That was his son. Actually, it's not his son, right? Kylo Ren is Leia's son.
Kylo Ren is between, I believe, Han Solo and
Leia. Yeah.
And Luke is Vader's.
Luke is Vader's son, right? But
Yes.
Luke doesn't have any kids because he's a bachelor, confirmed bachelor.
Right.
Okay. See, got it all down there for y'all. We're headed over to Rise of the Resistance, which also had a very short wait when we checked at the beginning of this video.
Very short.
And in fact, it was 20 minutes, just like the Millennium Falcon was. Pirates had a 10-minute wait. Haunted Mansion was listed at 13 minutes, which is the lowest wait they record on that ride.
Yeah.
So they think it's funny, right? It used to be on Tower of Terror. They would also say it had a 13-minute wait. It's just a joke. But
It's simply walk-on, really.
it's a walk-on, right?
Yeah.
Why is it so dead here today, Mike?
Well, I know ticket prices are a little bit higher.
They are.
I think, what did we say today was $190?
Yeah, it's about 180 today,
180 for
196 or something for tomorrow, and then 206 for Saturday.
Yeah, and then it goes back down Sunday again.
Yeah, a little
Which is
bit,
weird,
but not
yeah.
way back down.
No, it goes back down to the 190.
But this being a holiday weekend, and a lot of people take, a couple days off before, or they take a couple days off after, and you would expect it to be packed here.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, not at all.
In fact, the conditions all week have been like this. We have some friends here from out of town and from Vegas, and They said it's just been amazing. This whole week has been like the olden. They said it's like 2013 all over again.
And the weather's beautiful today.
It's gorgeous.
I think it got to like 78 today.
Not too hot. The sun has been out.
I basically walked onto Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, look at that. 40-minute wait for Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah.
That's nothing for this
Yeah.
ride. Now, California Adventure is a little busier, mostly because they don't have as many attractions, but they still have some surprisingly low waits. But they do have many attractions that are right at the hour wait limit at California Adventure. But here, everything's way under an hour.
Also, I think several of the Magic Keys are blocked.
Magic Keys are blocked. The prices are high.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't it really fully explain it to me. I mean, even though we've been saying for a couple of years now that when the Magic Keys are blocked and the prices are high, it's not busy in the parks.
Right.
The exception is holidays, because people do still show up when they're out of school, but not yesterday and today. But when we had Juneteenth a couple of weeks ago, it was on a random Thursday, right? Packed.
Yeah.
Absolutely packed to the gills. So it's very hard to figure out what's going on.
But I mean, if you really think about it, why do they black out Magic Keys? Because they want to sell regular park tickets. They want
Right.
to make room for the day tickets.
And I'm sure they expected this to be a busy
And they're
day,
not
or
showing
they
up.
would have unblocked, the passes. But they don't have a lot of flexibility here at Disneyland. At Disney World, they created these good to go days.
Oh yeah.
Where at any point they can just add a good to go day, which means if you're a pass holder, even if you would have been blocked out otherwise, it's good to go, so you can go. They don't do that here. They don't have that program. I think they should add it.
I do too.
Start with the next tier down that doesn't have access and give them the access. If it's still not booked up, then go another tier down.
Right. Make the blackout dates more like a gray out date.
I'm pointing up to Hungry Bear Jamboree barbecue because I used this as my office earlier today. I have a huge event at Knott's Berry Farm on Saturday morning, which is completely sold out. It's a celebration of the 50th anniversary of Knott's Berry Tales. And there were still a lot of things that I needed to get done because tomorrow's a holiday, so print shops and things will be closed. So I sat up there and worked while Mike was scurrying around taking photos for the Monday update. And Mike, you reported back a lot of stuff about the parks and a lot of construction that's going on. A lot of walls have come down.
Walls have come down.
Some new walls have gone up.
Yep.
And we're going to take a look at that today as well.
Yeah. And
Sorry.
I mean, and some of it, not so much walls, but things that have been added that I'm pleasantly surprised about. One of which we're walking up.
We're
on
rocking
now.
right up. We were going to start here, but then when we...
It's out for probably for at least a month now. It's just been getting worse and worse, and it just finally just all died.
So it's all new sod up there,
It's
but
fresh.
sadly they've replaced it with grass, so they're probably running right back into the same situation again, unless they fix the whole watering
Maybe the
situation.
sprinklers are working.
Maybe it's a different type of sod, but we had wished that they would put the ferns back up there, because not only does it really look impressive and it matches kind of the bayou type theme, they're hardy.
Well, what's sad is I'm looking at it right now. This is the same tall fescue they sell at Lowe's.
Yeah. This is the only long wait in the whole park, 60 minutes for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Mostly because it's still nice out. It's not hot by any means, but lovely outside.
Just warm enough just to ride. Although it is kind of cooling down quick, don't you think?
Well, that's what happens in California.
It is.
You know,
get that
warm
ocean
days, cool nights, no one ever knows how to pack. You really have to be a local to get this down. Even we get caught off guard.
It won't be very cool where I'm going tomorrow.
No, Mike's going to go to the desert to avoid the fireworks.
Oh yeah, we're going camping.
There we are, Bayou. And take one moment to just turn this around and say hello to the people who are joining us today. So aside from Mike, who you've been hearing from, we have Natalie, who's going to share some thoughts about some merchandise. You've been writing furiously all day.
Yes, I have.
And we have Eric with us. You excited to be back at Disneyland, Eric?
I'm always excited to be at this.
Always excited. And we have Jeffrey and Ando, who are celebrating their 2-year anniversary today with us. So I'm also celebrating today. Both Natalie and I had birthdays in the last couple of days. So I'm celebrating another year orbit around the sun. Natalie is celebrating more merchandise to buy.
Always.
We're headed to this gigantic structure over here that dwarfs a little cottage behind it. This is, of course, the Haunted Mansion shop, and we're going to briefly go inside. If you guys could let me know if we start to lose the stream, I would appreciate it. So let us know if you think that we're starting. Eric, that's not new, but it's totally cute for you.
Yeah.
All right. Anything new in here that we need to see, Miss Natalie?
Yes,
All right.
There's a lot, but I'll just do a brief overview because I'll spare you guys. You have to read the article on MiceChat when it comes out. But pretty much most of the stuff you see on this wall, new.
Oh.
And you're going to see a larger version of this light-up Doom Buggy on Disney Store shortly. The
I
Disney
like
Store will
that.
get a lot of this merchandise.
Are these like tiki mugs, but of the hitchhiking ghosts?
Yes, they're coffee mugs. There's Ezra, Phineas, and Gus.
Oh my gosh, those are great.
Now the real question is, do you buy them all or do you just buy one?
No, you buy them all.
If you buy them all, you have to arrange them in the right
No,
order.
you can't separate them. They're triplets.
Of course, they're good buddies and traveling buddies.
I like those. Sorry, I had to touch them, everybody. I know the
My
staff
favorite
sees me
piece.
coming in, they probably hate me.
My favorite piece, however, is this little guy.
Are you kidding me? They turned what are those called? The gargoyle lights,
yes.
lanterns, candle holders.
Chandelier or candelabra, whatever.
They
it was.
turned them into plush.
Yeah, they're shoulder plushes, and they light up. There's a button,
Oh,
which we will not pull this because someone's going to eventually buy it and want the battery.
right.
powered.
So they light up.
Yeah, there's a little button that you push. This little rump right here. There's a button back there to turn it on
Push
and off.
the rump. Okay, got it. Look, Eric's already trying to make him sit on his shoulder. He's ready.
And it's
We have replicas of the actual ones from the stretching room that are up on the shelves in our living room.
I love
So it's
it.
one of my favorite things I ever bought at Disney. You love it, Eric?
But these ones are more jolly looking.
Do you need one of those? Anything else in here we need to see? Is that a new shirt right back there, the architectural plan?
There's a matching
Okay,
bag.
so I love this kind of stuff. It's architectural rendering of the mansion. Matching bag down here, very masculine shaped bag, so it's not a lounge fly or something that's overly cute.
And here's
I
something
like
about-
that.
Here's something, Disney World gets their own version with their haunted mansion.
Oh, very nice.
So that's something that collectors will want to go to.
I
so it's
like it. I like it. Okay, we're gonna move along. Anything else in this store? Can we move to New Orleans Square?
Definitely, but I will say you're going to want to check MiceChat soon for the article to see all of it.
Yeah, check in tomorrow morning. We'll have all the new merch up for you. So if you're curious to see what's inside, it's what happens when summer and Halloween collide. The front of the mansion there was a walk-on earlier, still is. The only queuing is just barely in the front. Listed as a 13-minute wait. It looks a little longer than that to me, actually.
It was closer to about 20 maybe. We'll find out when we walk up.
But it is looking pretty here. The flowers are really blooming in the queue, and they tried to match the flora with the vibe of the mansion. So they have garlic blooming in there and things that look a little bit spindly, a little bit spooky, but it's all in bloom. So it's actually quite nice.
They still have it listed as 13 minutes.
13 minutes. Of course, Tom Sawyer's Island is closed right now, but it is not closed permanently. On July 7th, however, do you know what does close permanently on July 7th?
I believe the Tom Sawyer's Island in
That's
Walt Disney World
correct.
completely closes.
Tom Sawyer's Island in Walt Disney World. I have some friends here. How are you all doing?
Awesome. How are you?
Well, it's wonderful to see you all. In fact, we were just a month and a half ago or so on a cruise with you on the MiceChat Disney Treasure Cruise. Aileen and Mike. Did I pronounce it right? I never know if it's Aileen or Aline.
No, it is Aileen.
Eileen? Or you're leaning.
I'm leaning.
And you even brought your kiddo along.
Yes, he is wandering around the park somewhere.
So tell us, did you love the MiceChat cruise?
It is the second MiceChat cruise. Oh, hi, I have the little buzzy thing here.
Yeah, hold up your mouth.
was our second MiceChat cruise, and hosted by MiceChat, obviously, and Fairy Godmother Travel and Teresa Corey. And we're looking forward to our third MiceChat cruise on the new Disney Destiny.
In February.
In February.
In
yes,
fact,
yes.
all of the people that are watching right now, we invite all of you to come along because we're going to do the new Disney Destiny, which is the one inspired by heroes and villains. And I'm hoping, I'm definitely team villain.
Yes.
And I am channeling all the villains, really. So that's what I'm most looking forward to. And there is a Haunted Mansion parlor on the new ship, just like there was on the Treasure.
That's awesome.
That was my favorite
Super
space.
Super excited, yeah. Wonderful space. All the Disney cruise ships are so magical. You just don't even want to get off the ship at a port of call because there's just always
The ship
something
is
new.
amazing. Although the one exception to that for me is I love Disney's private islands. So I always
Very,
get off
very
the
true.
ship for the
Very, very
Disney's
true.
private island, but I don't always get off the ship in other ports. Now I have a question to ask you.
Yeah.
So if somebody has never done a MiceChat trip before and they're thinking, I do want to see the Destiny, I'm just not sure I want to go with these strangers, what would your advice be? Because there was a time when you were the strangers.
Absolutely. And at first you're very, very nervous because you don't know, but we all have something in common, and that is not only being part of MiceChat, but our love for Disney and everything Disney that comes along with it. And now our son who went with us and his fiance, they are absolutely hooked. He now is like, this is all I ever want to do. So he might be forming a problem a little bit early. And it's definitely a habit that we're going to stay with going forward. So if you haven't done it, if you feel a little bit gun shy, I say just go for it.
For sure. I mean, you can't
do
make new friends if you don't put yourself in a position to make them. But what makes it extra easy on the cruises is you're captive on the ship. You're sitting at a table every night with the same group of people from the cruise. So you'll get to know them for sure.
Absolutely.
And then we do some group activities and so forth. But if you're afraid that you're just going to get stuck with the Mice Chatters the whole time, it's really entirely up to you. You can hang out with people on the cruise all you want. We always start a group chat and somebody says, I'm at the Haunted Mansion bar. And, 20 people that want to go to the Haunted Mansion bar will go. Or somebody says, I'm going to get off the ship and go, shopping at such and such a place. Who wants to go? And people say, well, I'll join you at 7 o'clock in the morning or whatever time. Or who's at breakfast? And it's that kind of scenario. So it's like being in a small town of Disney fans.
Too, because the MiceChat family, it is a family, and they've been very welcoming to us over the last couple of years since our first MiceChat cruise, and the second one just expanded it. So,
well, I love you guys so much. I'm so glad we ran into you.
Absolutely.
And we were just talking about how uncrowded the parks have been these last few days and what a surprise it is.
This
But
is
have
our
you been
third day.
enjoying this trip?
The weather has been amazing. The wait times have been completely unexpected and enjoyable. We've been able to do whatever we want, not feel rushed, not feel crowded. It has been probably one of the best trips we've had in a few years.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we got to run into you and Mike and Jeff
And Jeff.
Ando and Almi and Eric.
Little Eric.
Someone I don't know, but we have Baloo the bear.
Yeah, Natalie brought Baloo with her. And Baloo has a MiceChat medallion on that he borrowed from Murray the Murder Beaver. Yeah, that's MiceChat insanity. I love you too. Enjoy the rest of your trip. I hope we run into you again in a little bit here.
Free walk around the
Mwah.
Love you.
Love you guys.
Run into our son
Take the
later.
cruise.
Bye.
That was lovely and unexpected. The two of them are the most supportive and wonderful people. They do the Gumball Rally every year, our race through Disneyland to see who can ride the most rides in a single day. Through that, they have met dozens and dozens of friends who all get together and do things. And then they came on this cruise, and
MiceChat meetups as well.
her son had never been on a Disney cruise or any cruise at all. And now he's all in every cruise. He wants to be on it.
It's amazing. Well, I mean, come on, if you start off in a Disney treasure,
We can't stop without enjoying this display. Of course, many of you know that these roses are special. These are the Disneyland roses. And what I have always loved about the Disneyland rose is it is a fickle flower that changes its color. It starts off one color and it turns to another. So when it first blooms, it is an orangey color. and then as it opens up, it becomes pink. So if you see orange and pink on your screen, it's because that's exactly what you're seeing. One flower, two colors over time. I just love it. Beautiful, beautiful. Disneyland Rose, you can buy it at Armstrong. A little late in the season to buy a potted Disneyland Rose. Right now, they usually sell out really early in the spring. But if you can't find the Disneyland Rose, it has a doppelganger called Voodoo, which is exactly the same exact rose. They just haven't paid for the licensing to call it the Disneyland Rose. So other companies other than Armstrong sell the same rose at a cheaper price called Voodoo. So we're walking into what looks like a shop, Mike, but yesterday this was a seating area.
That's quite...
Will you give that back to Miss Natalie, the microphone there?
No, we'll turn it there.
There's our Natalie, who is... Natalie, were you surprised to see them turn this back into a shop?
Honestly, yes. I was surprised mostly because there still is some small amount of Nightmare Before Christmas merchandise in Madame Leota's.
Yeah. So they've mostly turned this into the Nightmare Before Christmas shop. Leota's is mostly the mansion shop, mostly. But once they switch over to Haunted Mansion Holiday, I think that will change over there.
Yes. So this is going to be interesting to watch, this space.
Anything new that we need to see?
This, for one. This is a bottle holder. It has a bottle with it, and it's Oogie Boogie.
Okay, that's cute.
Very
So this is like a bag right there, and then a bottle holder, so it's two things in one.
Yes, you got a water bottle, you got a holder, it's got a strap, and a little, two straps, two ways.
Yeah, love that. That's nice. Anything else in here that's new? And then we'll tell people outside what we think is going to really happen with this space.
Okay. Well, for one thing, there's pumpkin pink ear headband and matching sling backpack.
Oh.
So you can see.
Okay, so we can see it on display right here.
Yeah, you can see the
That's the new
backpack.
Pumpkin King. So this is a kind of a new design. They had done that 3D look for a few years that I wasn't overly fond of.
No, this is
Let's pull one of these ears up, Mike. There's
Slightly
the
edgy looking, kind
Pumpkin
of dig it.
King. It's kind of neat, comic book art-ish style.
Yeah.
I love the colors. That's fun.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's detachable.
It's not.
It's too bad because I would like to wear that as a bow tie, and then I would wear these ears, but I won't with a bow. I just can't do it.
Pumpkin King Dusty.
Yeah.
And this is new to our cosplay.
Fun.
hoodie. And there's also a girl's dress that is very similar to this. That is Jack Skellington.
Is this a new jacket?
This is a new jacket, yes.
That is real cute. I can see Eric will be sporting.
I want it so bad.
You could
Do you want
totally
that?
watch Eric.
It's so cute.
All right, do you want to show them your mad skills with the fan?
Wait, Eric has mad skills with the fan?
I do not, but we will try our best.
Oh, I kind of love that.
There we go. Thank you, Eric. Okay, so Mike and I have been for months chastising Disney because their Fantasmic merchandise all featured prominently the dragon, Murphy. But Murphy, of course, burned down, and they've been doing the show without the dragon forever. Well, they finally have a new Fantasmic merchandise line that features no dragon. So it looks good, but it's also sad because it means they're not at any time soon planning to have the dragon back. Otherwise, they would keep it in there. But they have several items now with the new Fantasmic merch.
I wonder if the paint, if like the colors they use would
like
look
shiny.
they glow. Like under a black light?
Maybe.
It looks like they would glow in the black light.
There's a Chernabog back there, Tinkerbell, Aladdin. I mean, it's most of the show now without the dragon.
Yeah,
Notably
kind of
missing is Maleficent on a stick.
It's funny.
Embarrassed by Maleficent on a stick. If I would
Yep.
myself that I
And then some generic Disneyland merch. We're headed.
This is new as well, this March.
Do you like that one?
I do. I think.
I mean, it's
prefer-
vintage.
Yes. I like the aged look to it. Yes.
Yeah. All right, we're headed out of the shop, and we're going to talk just very briefly. So what we thought was going to happen here, Mike, is we expected them to turn this into a queue, and that is an actual plan that they've been working on. I've actually seen a diagram of how the guests would be queued, but it would mean the loss of this beloved restaurant, Royal Street Veranda, where you can get a gumbo, and the permanent loss of a shop, or if they decided to turn this one day into a bar, which they made it look like, when they took the shop out, they had tables in there instead and what looked like a bar. They turned that over overnight, Mike.
They did it.
So when they turned it into seating, they did that in one night. And then to turn it back into a shop, again, one night. So it would take them no effort at all to pull all this out again and trial queuing through here. I would like to see them test it. But on a day like this,
you don't need it.
It's hard to argue that they need it because there is no queuing at all in the middle of the land. 2 reasons for that. Now look at this mostly empty queue for Pirates. A few people queued up right here along the edges, but there's no one in the middle there. We'll show you here.
In fact, they've taken the queuing down from here. The pole, the stanchions, and the ropes. They were up earlier.
So here's what's going on. They've removed Lightning Lane from this attraction. So now guests can queue up on both sides, which means that the standby lines are moving much quicker. See how fast people are kind of moving through back there because they constantly go. This is a very high capacity attraction. Those boats are large. They see 2 boats at one time. It moves if there's no lightning lane. If there is lightning lane, one line moves fast, the lightning lane does, the other line moves slow, so at half the speed that it normally would. So right now you see that the line is mostly contained within its own queue area. If they were to need external queuing, it could be done through the shop very easily, and they could probably do it on a case-by-case basis. I would like to see them leave that as seating in there, and then on days they need to use it as a queue, they could. So whatever they do, I just hope they find a way to not have guests queued up in the middle of the land. What do you think about that, Jeffrey?
Absolutely. It's a huge pinch point, huge bone of contention.
Well, it just looks
Anyone
awful.
trying to get through.
You're walking through Disneyland's land filled with shops and restaurants and you can't get around.
And you end up with strollers and scooter bumps on your ankles.
So Mike, this has been bothering me for so long now. The water buckets that go up from the wheel are not moving, and they have them tied off in a really weird, precarious way that makes it look almost unsafe. I just wish they could fix this, but it's going to take some effort because the ropes are fraying. Did you notice that?
I could see that, yes.
Yeah, so I think they probably did it for safety reasons. It just looks horrible the way they did it. Fix the treehouse. If they can fix the roof on Rays Berets, they can fix that. And I don't want to be too negative here because I have to say something really positive about the new president of Disneyland, Thomas Maslam. Since he's come on board, they have really seemed to be trying much harder with maintenance.
Yeah.
And that sometimes means, because there's a lot of old stuff here in this 70-year-old park, that sometimes things have to break before they know that they need to work on them. But they could be a little more proactive on fixing some of these things before they break. And I have a feeling he's going to be able to get a handle on that. He's been fairly incredible, very personable, very open to ideas and suggestions. I think we're in good shape with Thomas Maslam, and as they start planning out the future of the resort, including the third park and expanded lands and new hotels and shopping areas, I think that we're going to see some positive things. I'm glad he's at the helm right now.
I feel a lot more confidence than I've felt in a while.
Yeah, and it's not, like me, folks, to say positive things about Disney executives, but he comes from Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney, where the customer service is extraordinary compared to the parks. He knows that. He also worked on festivals at Epcot and knows how important it is to engage a local audience. That will be very good eventually for the locals who live in and around the Disneyland area. So I'm hopeful. Yeah. And as soon as we start seeing signs of that change, we will, of course, let you all know. We're headed into the Tiki Room, Lanai, because Tiki Room has finally returned, Mike.
Yay, I'm happy to hear that.
Fountain over here is still not going. The new Jungle Book inspired fountain in front of the men's restroom, but
I expect that
still better than the construction malls.
It is. I expect that to be running maybe in the next month or so.
So these walkways feel much more crowded than the park actually is. A lot of people here in the Lanai getting their Dole Whip. But look at the completely refreshed decor here in the courtyard. Very nice. The Tiki Gods have all been repainted, and in one case, Some new animations over there. This is a new Tangaroa, father of all gods and goddesses. From his limbs, new life falls. But those little tiki babies that fall from the flowers used to be much closer to guests' heads. So the new tree is just a little taller than the old one. But looks exactly the same. So don't worry, it all looks just like it did before. Just a little more imposing because he's a little taller, which is a good thing. And not bad. In fact, the little show is starting right now.
I felt left out.
My name is Maui. Natives call me the Mighty One. I tamed the playful sun and gave my people time. Now they set their clocks by mine, for I am Tropic Standard Time.
It's wonderful. You know what's great, Mike, is they've already fixed one of the things we complained about last week, which was the sound levels on the gods was a little too low, so you couldn't really hear what was happening.
Yes.
And they've fixed some of that, so that was much louder. Not so loud that it's disturbing, but loud enough that you would hear it from a greater distance.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're
Much better.
You know, I'm sure they were rushed to get it open and probably didn't do full tests and adjust because it wasn't necessary. But I do also think they pay attention to what is said online, not necessarily on MiceChat, but everywhere. And they're fixing things. They're being very proactive. In fact, almost all the things we've complained about in the last 2 weeks got fixed in the last week. So they're working fast. I would hate to think that we're simply a to-do list for Disney.
No.
But I don't mind being a to-do list. These crepe myrtles are gorgeous. We have had blooming trees for so long now. First, it was the pink trees, the pink lapacho, I believe they are, or pink trumpet flower trees that were in the center part of the hub. Then it was the jacarandas, the kind of bluish purple trees. Now it's the crepe myrtles blooming. Just really incredible that we have so much gorgeous foliage in Southern California. We really live in a remarkable place. We don't have winter so much. We have spring and summer and fall and back to spring.
Right.
So nice.
Sometimes it's like summer, winter, summer.
Well, where you live, you get snow.
Yeah.
Where I live, we don't. Of course, I'm from Kansas City, where we went from, seemed like winter straight to summer.
Right.
I don't know why I'm headed this way, but I am. So we're just we're snaking our way through the park.
If folks are able to hear me clearly, can you guys let us know, because we're apparently hearing the microphones on.
Oh, are they not working?
Just this one, apparently.
Just yours. It looks like it's working here, so maybe you just hold it up closer to your mouth, maybe.
Maybe that works better.
Do a test 1, 2, 3 and let them know.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Mike just did a test 1, 2, 3. Let us know if you heard him closely. I talk loud. I've got lungs filled with bravado. Oh, this is a beautiful sight, Mike. We're walking through Walt Disney's first castle. I heard Eric back there testing his non-existent mic. We don't give Eric the mic anymore. He forgets he has it on and has side conversations. So what you're seeing over here is what looks like a busy queue, but nowhere near as busy as it would normally get. This is, of course, Peter Pan.
About 30 minutes.
Looks like an 80s cover band in there.
Yeah.
Peter Pan's Flight, one of my faves. I wish if they ever do decide to redo Peter Pan's Flight, just make it twice as long.
Yes. It needs to be.
See, is she going to pull that sword out of the stone? Nope.
She will.
She was not meant to be a knight. Looks like the carousel may be down.
It does appear that way.
Yeah. Maybe for cleaning.
Oh.
Issues happen. Are we looking over here to see what's going on, Mike?
I don't see anything different. I was hoping that maybe some of the shingles that they had removed were replaced.
But they haven't been?
It doesn't look like it.
I think they're going to have to re-shingle it at this point.
Some of it.
And I would not be surprised this winter to see scaffolds go up again. It was just last year they redid that roof.
It is. And here's the thing, like if I remember correctly with this shingling, if you're going to remove shingles at a level, you have to remove all the shingles above it. So that's a lot of work.
Yeah, they say your mic is still quiet. I wonder why.
Huh.
And mine is going in and out.
Oh.
So let's see here.
Maybe there's a connectivity issue.
Maybe. So what I'm going to do, folks, I'm going to pull this mic out of my camera, so you might lose us for a second. There we go. Now tell us, how do we sound? Better? Now we're just going off the sound from the phone.
Oh.
Imagine that. Now they just need to be close to me to be heard.
Actually, hold on. Mic comes prepared.
Well, I don't want to plug in a new mic in the middle of the live, so we'll just stay like this. As long as people can hear us. Yep, now we're fine.
Okay, good.
Teresa Corey for the save. And I'm glad Miss Teresa Corey said something, because she is the same Teresa up there at Godmother Travel that we were talking to Aileen about earlier and going on the MiceChat cruises. And it is Teresa you would contact to find out more about 2 big MiceChat trips coming up. The first is our Halloween events in Florida. We're in October going to Epic Universe. We're also going to go to Walt Disney World and do Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, a sip and nibble through Epcot's Food and Wine Festival. And I'm really excited about that trip, so contact Teresa if you'd like to join us for as much or as little as you would like. But the biggie is in February when we go on the brand new Disney Destiny. Mike, it looks like they're getting closer to reopening some of the the Matterhorn, because some of the scaffolds have come down from on the inside area. They had the little entry hut there completely scaffolded last week. All of that is down now.
And the mountain is all unscaffolded as well.
I took the monorail in this morning and I got some photos that the bobsleds are back on the track right in front of the station. So there were even some cast members out there. So I think they've probably been testing.
Oh, so they may be a testing. I saw some people walking up there earlier, but
ready for that one to return.
Definitely.
So that my chiropractor can stay in business for another year.
Well, and as this one reopens and Pixie Hollow's reopened now.
Every time an old blogger rides the Matterhorn, a chiropractor gets his wings. I guess a
new summer home?
Or a chiropractor gets a new summer home.
That's a good one, Eric.
We pointed these out a few times. The history of the Matterhorn. They started doing this around the Disneyland 50th celebration, when a big attraction like the castle would close. They would start putting history things on the walls and or create photo ops. That's smart.
Yes.
I understand that Disneyland attractions, particularly the old ones like this, need maintenance, and I'm happy for them to get it. I do question sometimes why it takes them so long to complete that maintenance.
Yeah, that's a difficult question to answer.
It certainly takes Disney 2 or 3 or 4 times longer than any other amusement company. One of my favorite views, Eric. Oh, I was thinking of you.
Oh.
No, really, the submarine voyage lagoon. Oh, how I would hate to see it go. Very important to the vibe of the park. Your favorite thing in the park is this duck? Are there ducklings? Where are they? Under the rocks?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm afraid to get... Oh, there they are. Let's see if we can see them.
Look, Mom.
There they are.
Mom's keeping an eye.
There they are.
Look how cute. And after eating all this Disney food,
Yeah, they're gonna be huge from all the Disney food. That's how they get baby Donalds. And first they start feeding them churros, then they fit them for little vests and hats. But in the case of the ducks, they wear no pants. I can't remember which country that the the lore is that Donald Duck is banned in like the Netherlands or somewhere because he doesn't wear pants. I'm sure you all have heard that rumor. I wonder if it's true. I don't think there's a lot that's new over here in Tomorrowland.
No.
We're going to skirt it just for our own sanity.
The only thing that we would want to see in Tomorrowland we can get to from this side.
Which is coming right up.
Dark Tour. Oh, yeah.
First, we will see a certain Pixie. I never thought it made sense that Pixie Hollow was out here next to the hub in Tomorrowland.
Right.
I guess it is on the parade route and the castle is over there.
Well, I mean, it used to be
Little Mermaid Lagoon.
Little Mermaid
Before
Lagoon.
that, it was the House of the Future.
Yep.
But it could be any of a number of meet and greets. I'm surprised this one has lasted as long as it has. I know people want to meet Tinkerbell, but there is the Princess Fantasy Fair where she could be. She could be anywhere in Fantasyland.
Definitely.
Still see that they've got the waterfalls scrimmed. They wouldn't reopen. Well, not really. Scrims have come down except for the very bottom.
It's down below the track level.
Yeah, that's a very positive sign, Mike.
It is.
Take a quick look at this.
And they've repainted that rock. It doesn't look like it's...
And then you can see a little bit of scaffolding below the monorail, but up above, the scaffolds they had in front of the waterfall are gone, and they have painted because that was dark and gross and covered in algae and all kinds of stuff.
You can tell where they
it's been
replaced.
redone.
The halfway mark on that waterfall up is what was replaced, because
Yeah.
if you look down, it's all spotted and old.
That's right. It's yellowy down below that crack, and then up above, it's a little lighter in color. So they did replace the concrete there.
They've paid a lot more attention to these waterfalls ever since they had that bit fall into the track. But fortunately, that happened when the park was not operating.
It's right in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
But it landed right on the track. So
Which
can
is
you
scary.
imagine?
Anything falling light poles right back here.
There's a projector up there, so that weird netting that you see there, it looks like a giant birdhouse. Digital mapping projector in that box. And that is for the fireworks at night, projection shows. We're headed into Pixie Hollow. It is reopened at long last.
Yes.
But not fully to the level we expected. So they have painted things at eye level,
Yeah.
but things up above did not get painted, and it has been closed for half a year. Why isn't it perfect? It's very shocking to me. It really indicates to me, Mike, that something else was probably planned for this spot, and it fell through and it didn't happen. But you can see up above Tinkerbell's meet and greet back there. It's still like white and weathered, and there's bird poop on this leaf that we're about to go under. None of that got painted on the top side, but underneath it did. You see that the ice fairy is back. The fairy behind her with the little blue bird. So all the little fairies have returned, which is also strange because Tinkerbell's Fairy Friends stopped being a thing that Disney did about a decade ago or maybe more. Let's see. That down here at this level looks pretty good. Although even these don't look gorgeously shiny and painted, like the ones below are all shiny.
Right? Like this one.
At night, this is really pretty because a lot of this lights up.
It does. Unfortunately,
No, we're walking through quickly now because there are no fairies out.
I think those banners are new.
That's a little doorway, and it opens up, and Tinkerbell comes out to meet with guests right over here. It's nice that they let people walk through it when she's not here. And there you have it, folks. 6 months for that. Here, fly with you later. Eric, do you want to capture that picture for me? And then a face painting right here at the exit, Mike, so we could get you painted to look like a fairy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Probably not today, though.
Oh, you sure?
I'm. Let me think about it. Maybe next week.
You heard it, folks. Next week, Mike
said-
is going to get painted.
I said maybe. Maybe.
Oh. Do it, Mike.
Yeah.
That's the comments right now.
I'm sure Lisa's all for it.
So, folks, if they were going to redo this at some point in the future, which it seems like they're starting to think about doing, given the half-assed job that they did with this redo, 6 months closed with just minimal amount of painting in there, what character or activity would you like to see go in there? It's not really enough space to build an attraction, but it could very well be a meet and greet or have a different character, redo it. When it was the Little Mermaid meet and greet, that's why we have this lagoon here. They had the King Triton fountain in the center where this little fountain is, and then in the back there was Little Mermaid. It didn't take them 6 months to build the whole thing.
No, but here's what
Look at
confuses
these babies
me.
are so
They're getting
big
bigger
now.
every week. What confuses me is how much, I mean, they did so much work in the lagoon, and then it started falling apart on the bottom of the paint, and they covered it back up and redid the lagoon again. So they put an
Yeah,
incredible
the
amount of effort.
shoddy workmanship in this project. I'm sure they had a third-party vendor.
I'm sure.
They probably weren't happy with that vendor. They probably had to replace them. That might be what caused this project to be so delayed. But that's just speculation on our part. We don't really know. Mike, I am being drawn to another construction wall, as I so frequently am. And it seems that although everything appears to be on the move here in Tomorrowland.
It is, for the most part.
Where? Oh. So we have Star Tours construction, middle of summer, just weeks before the 70th anniversary of Disneyland, and a major attraction is closed for
And
refurbishment.
my understanding is this was going to be a little bit of a lengthy one.
It could be, and I'm very curious about it. It's just the timing seems to not make a lot of sense to me. That big attraction would close in the middle of summer, but there's not a lot of people here today, and maybe they are not expecting big crowds this summer, and now summer is the new off-season?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, fall and, winter are very popular.
Well, now that we're in the shade of the long-defunct People Mover, we have some friends here. Eric, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good. We ran into your mama earlier,
Oh boy.
and they were talking about the Disney cruise on the Treasure.
Oh my gosh.
That was your first cruise.
Yes, it was.
And did
Yes.
you love it?
Oh my goodness. I was a little skeptical at first. I've never been on a ship. The second I walked onto the ship, I'm hooked. For life, I'm hooked for life. I can't wait. We already booked with Teresa for our next one. I can't wait. I'm counting down the days. 234, if anybody was wondering.
234.
234. We checked this afternoon.
You're so cute. So again, that Teresa's Teresa at fairygodmothertravel.com.
The
Let
best.
her know that you're interested in going on the Disney
Best.
Destiny with us.
Yes.
Or, we're doing a MiceChat trip to Florida in October.
Ooh.
Halloween,
Little
anybody?
Halloween trip?
Little Halloween Horror Night, a little
Okay.
Mickey's Not So Scary, some Epcot Sip and Nibble. You are old enough to drink.
I am. Barely.
All right.
Yeah. Yes.
You guys having fun?
Oh, yes. They didn't want to be on camera. I was like, come on.
They don't want to be on camera.
No, look at Lizzie's eye.
Now, just for that, I got to come in and give you a kiss. All right, we are headed off. Oops, sorry. We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
And we took a slightly different route than we normally do. I like that route. That was a good one.
A lot of changes.
A lot of the same. Some
Yes.
changes.
Oh, yeah.
Some maintenance. But it is funny, no other theme park has as many things change in 1 week as Disneyland does. We have been doing Disneyland updates every Monday morning for 25 years, and there's always something. Whereas we could do a Walt Disney World update every other week for the whole 4 parks and
Yeah.
really struggle sometimes to pull together a full update for Disney World. Even less happening at Knott's and Six Flags. And although, did you read the news that Six Flags might close?
I saw that the one up in, was it San Jose?
Well, no, Magic Mountain even.
Yeah.
They said Six Flags Magic Mountain may not renew the lease on their land.
I did see that.
I don't know if that's true or not, but is very interesting.
If that's the case, I'm gonna have to go and ride some roller coasters.
Oh, I think it would be a housing development in no time at all.
Oh, there's so much new home. I actually just drove
Look at the
through
waits
there
really
last
fast.
week.
Long wait. Roger Rabbit, 50 minutes. Short wait, Jungle Cruise, Disneyland Railroad.
Everything's 10, 15
Peter
minutes.
Pan's flight is only 30 minutes. 45 minutes Indiana Jones, that's reasonable. 30 minutes for Rise of the Resistance. Smuggler's Run is back to 20 minutes. Space Mountain is 10 minutes. Yep, I think that must be because it just reopened. But Space Mountain is 10 minutes and 40 minutes for Tiana, so it's coming down. Alice in Wonderland, 25 minutes. So those Fantasyland dark rides continue to perform like crazy. Like they're so popular. These are old school attractions in a very small space. They don't build attractions like that anymore. They don't build tiny little dark rides. They build big, gigantic ones. So when they built Little Mermaid, which is the California equivalent of a Fantasyland dark ride, it's in a giant show building.
It is.
They could have put 2 or 3 Fantasyland-sized dark rides in that building.
Easily.
And I think it would be great if they could build a few of those smaller, less ambitious, but story-focused style dark rides in their other parks,
Definitely.
like California Adventure. Children of the Corn, we're not going to really stop and see them other than to say, notice that they're in their patriotic clothes. Red, white, blue. This is it, folks. That's just about the only patriotism in the park for 4th of July, which is tomorrow. Unless they're gonna stay up all night long to put red, white, and blue on Main Street. This is it. It's the bright colors of the 70th anniversary up and down Main Street. No 4th of July this year here. They will, of course, have 4th of July fireworks tomorrow. I'm sure they'll have a marching band or something. There'll be some patriotic elements, but it does not look like the normal 4th of July at Disneyland. Now, I think, and Jeffrey and I were talking about it a little bit earlier, I really think they should have just moved 4th of July this year to Frontierland.
Yeah.
And it
Or
would fit there.
something.
Just put some red, white, and blue bunting up in Frontierland, put some on the Mark Twain, have some music playing that's patriotic, and it would fit, and it would be the perfect way to have both things happening at once.
The only inkling of 4th of July I saw so far this year was Hungry Bear had some really sad, tattered.
But they're always
bunting.
there. So Hungry
Okay.
Bear has the red, white, and blue
Yeah.
year round because it's Americana barbecue. But yeah, I just feel like there needs to be some 4th of July somewhere.
Not what I expect.
No, you wouldn't expect. Walt was very patriotic, and I think that the park deserves to have something.
Most definitely.
And Mike, when you see water in the tracks, it is not because it rained earlier. So sometimes you'll see kids down there playing in it and stuff. Like, that is horse pee. Yes.
He's cringing.
Yes. I had to tell a lady once her kid was playing in the tracks like that, and I'm like, ma'am, that is horse pee. And she's like, oh my gosh.
Drag the child off and have to wash their hands.
I can just imagine the kid putting their hands in their mouth and like, ugh. Well, leave it to me to have something really fun to say. We are coming right up on a really big shoe, a really big celebration, Mike. The actual 70th anniversary of Disneyland. Now, of course, the 70th banners and bunting and signs and medallions have been up for months. But the real birthday is July 17th, and some new things will debut, including right here at the Main Street Cinema, where we will see a show inspired by the Sherman Brothers. Now let's take a quick look, because this is going to close for a one-day refurbishment, just to show you how quick Disney can do things. One-day refurbishment to get the Sherman Brothers show in here, and it's really inspired by It's a Small World. This is what the cinema looks like, just in case it never returns to normal. We really should know what it looks like, so here you go.
Well, don't forget to note the Mickey Mouse shaped lights and stuff.
You know, I've never noticed those, Mike. I've been in here a gajillion times. I never noticed those lights were Mickey shaped. But I'm sure they're going to change the banners out and the signs and so forth throughout this theater. They can do that in one night, and they will.
done.
It happens a few days before the anniversary. So 14th or 15th it closes, and then it'll be reopened. So if you come, I imagine they'll open that a little earlier than the 17th. But you never know with Disney.
Right.
But the bigger shoe is right here behind this here blue sign. Used to be a burgundy sign.
It looks kind of, it's pretty, I like it.
But it's a little washed out. But who knows, they might not be fully done with it, but I like it. I kind of love that color blue.
I'm just wondering if
This used to be the Disneyland story featuring great moments with Mr. Lincoln. And now it is the Opera House, now featuring 2 dramatic theater presentations. A Magical Life, Walt Disney, and Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. So here's what's coming. At first, it's going to be just the Walt Disney A Magical Life, which is going to take over the Lincoln Theater. He's actually on a rotating stage, Mike.
Yeah.
So when they're ready, when the hubbub over the new Walt show is done, they can start alternating performances with Abraham Lincoln, because they just have to rotate the stage. So you could be in that theater twice in one day and see 2 different shows.
That's a cool concept.
Isn't that a neat idea? In the lobby, a whole new gallery type presentation featuring the original lands of Disneyland plus New Orleans Square. And they have original concept art. They have original props. They have a tiki bird in there. They have props from Walt Disney's apartment on Main Street, which is right over there in the firehouse. So all of that stuff that's up there in the firehouse, and you were up there recently with Samantha, and you guys wrote an article. Most of the furniture and stuff up there is either reproductions or things inspired by Walt's original apartment. Original items went to the Walt Disney Family Museum in San Francisco, but they have loaned those original items to this show that you will be able to see. There will also be a recreation of Walt's office in there, which used to be in there. Actually, it's a recreation of Walt's apartment that they're putting in there. Used to have the office in there, that went to Orlando. And then back where the model of the Capitol was, they have more display space. So the Capitol building is now at the Walt Disney Archives. So lots of changes inside of the theater. It's all been installed. I heard the other day that Lincoln was up and running, and the people involved with the project are very happy with how it all looks. The question is, what are we going to think? What is Mike going to think?
Ooh, we'll have to see when Mike sees it.
Well, we're going to see it. We're going to see it soon. We can't tell you all when, but we were notified we were going to be able to see it. So we're going to come and take a look and let you all know what we really think.
I just happened to see today that the Walt Disney Family Museum put something up that they shipped everything. They shipped a few additional things out today to here. Yes.
Wow, rushing a few last minute items. Nothing like waiting till the last minute. There we are. We're back again, which also means that we're coming near the end of another MiceChat Live walkthrough of Disneyland. Gorgeous day here in the parks, very low crowds. What will tomorrow bring? Well, stay tuned and find out, because Eric and I will be here tomorrow. Look, that's him jumping up and down in the back so he can be seen on camera. There's his hands. Eric and I will be here. We'll try to share 4th of July fireworks with you if we can get a good spot, and we will see what the crowd levels look like. So you'll be able to see that with us tomorrow night at 9:30 for fireworks. But if it looks like it's going to be interesting, right around our normal time, we might go live here in the park so we can do a 4th of July walkthrough if it's worth it. We will for sure have the info for you on Monday for our next Disneyland update. And so much going on. This is going to be a great update. I have some surprises that I'm holding on to. Yes, I do. And I'll share all of those with you on Monday from Disneyland. But you know what, Eric? Both of my Erics. I'm spinning. I'm spinning out of control, which means we've come to the end of another MiceChat Live. Thank you all for joining us. We have so much more to share in the coming days. Check with us tomorrow. Come to one of our trips coming up soon in Orlando. And if you are interested in seeing Walt Disney's mansion in the Hollywood Hills, I'm going to list tickets tonight so you can maybe next weekend join me at Walt's house in Hollywood. A little bit creepy, a little bit like all these people trying to chase behind me. Thank you all for joining us. I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye. Happy 4th of July, everyone.